Hello, our country was China.
I'm Nicolas Guerra.
I'm Cassidy Long.
I'm Jose Siliero.
I'm Juan Rios.
And I'm Christopher Reyes.
First, we'll talk about some health issues in China. There are diseases like typhoid, hepatitis A, and polio, which are usually found in food or water. And some immunization for those are the polio vaccine, hepatitis A, and the typhoid vaccine as well. And then next, we'll talk about negotiations. Um, in the negotiation, there could be high text communications, just like nonverbal cues and verbal cues. And then also is to plan ahead because the Chinese doesn't like to wait around too much. So walking in there with a plan is a good idea. And then obviously commit deals that are both beneficial to both parties because they would like to come out with a good deal. And building a relationship with the other party because you wouldn't want you would want them to have a good relationship with them.
Dining and hosts. Whenever you're dining, focus on the food and not necessarily the topics that you came to meet for. Heavy topics in business conversation are typically addressed after the meal. Whenever you're a representative, you must be wary of the culture around you. When sitting down and upon meeting, you will be making the introductions between your hosts and those you are meeting with, unless your guest of honor does that for you. When taking breaks from your meal, remember to lay your chopsticks across your plate or bowl rather than straight up and down. Same thing for when you are finishing your meal. Pay close attention to rank whenever meeting with your business partners. Follow suit of the one with the highest rank or the guest of honor. Do not sit or eat until they have done so as well. Dining in China is typically done family style with many different entrees at the center of the table. When serving food, serve rice for yourself and serve entrees for the others. Wait your turn in rotation. Do not try to reach across the table for something that you would like to eat. Similarly, tea will be poured by someone else for you and vice versa. Pouring will continue until you give a gesture of thanks by tapping your index and middle finger on the table twice. The culture refrains from using forks and knives. Be prepared to use chopsticks. When using the chopsticks, if they must be set down, as mentioned earlier, remember to set them down across your plate, not stabbed vertical, especially in rice, as this bears a heavy resemblance to traditional Chinese funeral culture. Remember, when holding a bowl, to hold the bowl with your thumb on the rim and 3 fingers under, from pinky to middle, under the bowl, and bring the bowl to your mouth. Do not bring the food from the bowl to your mouth.
To continue with finance, the market is yen in Chinese. It is good to keep cash. It is recommended to be walking around with cash, and the market for trade value is $1 is equivalent to 6.95 yen. Monetarily exchanged in airports, cash and traveler's checks, banks, larger hotels, you run the risk of having an extra charge. For transportation, rail is one of the major sources of transportation in China, which is most convenient. Other sources are rapid bus transit, underground metro system, and bikes and electric bikes, which you can rent out throughout the whole entire city of China.
In case of emergency, unlike traditionally, the United States only has one number, as opposed to China has 4 different numbers, with one being a police text number, with the number stated right there. The emergency locations vary from around 20 to 30 different hospital, police stations, and fire stations, all located downtown, with several located outside of the town.
Onto meeting etiquettes. It's very important to know that China's proper etiquettes upon meeting. We listed below the basic etiquettes that China expects you to know before meeting. One of them being to always state your full name and job title when introducing yourself. Time is very valuable to them, so know that early is on time and on time is late. Do not automatically introduce yourself and go for a handshake. There are specific rules when doing so. The male will be introduced to the female. Always have the junior introduced to the senior. The inferior has to be introduced to the superior. The host will be introduced to the guests. And then be sure to always know what you're considered. If you're considered the guest of honor, you're always going to be at the opposite side of the table from the host.
This will conclude our presentation on China. Throughout our presentation, we had covered health, negotiation, dining, finance, emergency, and meeting etiquette in China.